How are we doing, everyone? Let's talk about Villa in the Cup on Thursday. The Carabao Cup, the Noddy Cup, the Pony, whatever cup you want to call it. Yes, it's not Manchester United's priority, but there are only 2 games left between now and the World Cup break. Will Ten Hag rotate his whole team? Will he keep it strong? I reckon it's going to be a bit of a blend of the two. And I'll run through my team selection and my logic behind it. We'll run through the early team news. And also, I think lessons that Ten Hag learned from the Sociedad game that he will apply to this game against Villa. So make sure you please do drop a like on the video. I do say it at the start of most videos, but it really does make a difference. If you can, just drop a like on it, please. It will make a difference to the channel. But let's run through the news that we know so far. We're waiting for an update on Antony and Jadon Sancho. Rafael Varane is not going to be playing. Martial returned to the team against Villa at the weekend. And look, Shadashur Atira has been training with the first team squad. Will Antony be fit? As far as I know, no. I think it's a hip injury that he's got, and he won't be featuring in this game. Varane's going to be missing. We know that. He'll probably play in the World Cup too with France. Let's find out on Jadon Sancho. There's no real clarification on that. But something I think that's important to take note of before we go and look at the team is the Sociedad game in the Europa League at home. This is the last time I think that Ten Hag might have looked at a fixture and goes, you know what? This is probably an occasion where I can really rotate, get my squad to play, and the squad let him down. Manchester United, this was the game that we played against Arsenal a few days before. We won 3-1. And this is the game that this is the team that we played against Real Sociedad. You can see there were quite a lot of changes. Dalot, De Gea, and Malacia kept their spots, but Varane and Martinez went out for Maguire and Lindelof. In midfield, Eriksen kept his spot. Casemiro, that was back when Casemiro was sort of coming through and he wasn't finding his feet. He struggled in that game too. We switched out 3 of the front 4 with Fred coming in for Bruno. And that must have been the game where he played absolutely abysmal, the number 10. Elanga there on the left for Jadon Sancho and Ronaldo coming in for Marcus Rashford. And Manchester United were poop. We really, really were. Yes, it was unlucky that it was a penalty goal. It shouldn't have been a penalty. But we were poop. And I think going into this game, Ten Hag would have learned from that. And I don't think he'll make the same mistake again. Now, this was the team that started against Villa at the weekend. If I was looking at the biggest problems we had inside this team, I would say Donny van der Beek. I would say Ronaldo in terms of the performances that they put in. And I would say probably Christian Eriksen really, really looked jaded and tired in that game. Really, really good. And geez, Marcus Rashford on the right wing. That was, I hope that's an experiment that Erik Ten Hag will never, ever do again. I mean, he shouldn't have done it anyway. But this is what I think he's going to do with the team. I think that Ten Hag's going to keep a spine running through the team from the back, going through to the front. That's what I think is going to be, in terms of what he wants in this squad. I reckon there's going to be a spine that he keeps in there, runs straight through the middle. And I therefore think that this man is crucial and part of that. I think Lisandro Martinez keeps his place in that back line. But I do think there will be changes. We need the reason we were so bad against Sociedad is because the tempo just dropped off completely. And I think if you keep certain players in this team, the logic is that the tempo won't be allowed to drop to those levels. And I'm going to put Martinez down as a player I think should be starting. But I do think there will be changes to this back line. I think we'll see Lindelof come off for Harry Maguire. Lindelof was pretty poor, very poor actually, against Villa. And I think Erik Ten Hag really wants Maguire to not be shit. So I think you'll probably give him a chance there. I think we'll see probably Luke Shaw drop to the bench and Malacia come in. I would say for Wan-Bissaka to come in here for Diogo Dalot, but because Diogo Dalot is injured, he's suspended for the game against Fulham at the weekend. I imagine Dalot will keep his place here. Alternatively, you could see Wan-Bissaka come in. You could see Malacia go to right back and Shaw at left back. I don't know. I think he'll keep Dalot in for this game. And therefore, the question about replacing Dalot will come in the next game. So I reckon there's a couple of changes in the back line there. But Martinez is crucial. And I tell you what, I completely skipped it and forgot it. But is this the game where we finally see Martin Dubravka? I'm going to put him in my predicted 11. Sod it. Surely the League Cup game is where you're going to play. I mean, we signed him as a number 2 goalkeeper. He's going to have to be played at some point, surely. That's what I think so anyway. That'll be my back 5. Dubravka, Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, and Malacia. Far from a completely weakened team, but changes. And in midfield, I reckon there's one player he keeps in there. Casemiro. In terms of players who have set the tempo in the last, well, in the good form that we had during October, Casemiro is a key part of that for me. And I reckon he keeps his spot there. But this is what I would like to see. I would like to see Zidane Iqbal come in and play alongside Casemiro. Because if I'm Erik Ten Hag, I'm looking at this squad and I'm thinking, right, okay, what are issues that we've had? I think he's had a massive issue in finding an alternative to Eriksen. I think he's had a massive issue in finding an alternative to Antony. I think he's going to try something else for this game as well. And that's why I'm going to go for Zidane Iqbal. I could go for Fred or McTominay there, but neither Fred or McTominay are a replacement for Eriksen or somebody who could step into the sort of position that he does and what he does. And Iqbal really impressed in pre-season, and that's why I'm going to put him here. And I'm keeping Casemiro alongside him because that's going to be... You could potentially put McTominay there too, but McTominay and Iqbal, I think having Casemiro's experience there alongside Iqbal, if he was to start him, would blend better. That's what I would do. And in terms of the other midfield position, I think this one's really quite straightforward. Donny van der Beek, he shouldn't be starting a game for Manchester United anytime soon now. And in terms of players who set the tempo, we missed him massively against Villa. But Bruno Fernandes. And there is the spine that I'm talking about. You've got Bruno, you've got Casemiro, and you've got Martinez. Through the middle, you've got a spine there that I think can keep the tempo at pretty much every part of the pitch. Defence, in midfield, and in and around the attack. And I think Ten Hag will be able to rely on that. That's what I think. So you can let me know what you think in the comments below. You might disagree. You might well see Fred there alongside Casemiro. You might see Fred and McTominay. But given, I think, what he learned here from this game, from the fact that he changed that team against Arsenal that won to this team here, I don't think he's going to be doing... I mean, I suppose he only made like 5 changes there as well. And I'm keeping quite a few players in here. But let's move on to the attack. And there's questions to be asked, right? Is Martial fit? I really hope he's fit to start. He was fit enough to come off the bench against Villa, so I'm going to put him in this starting 11. Now, you might say, Sam, let's save him for Fulham. I'd say, no, let's give Martial 45 minutes here. Take him off early in the second half. Hopefully, by that point, United have the game dead and buried. That's what good squads do. Martial needs the minutes in his legs. Get Martial on there. He's not going to the World Cup. We need Martial up front. That, for me, is a given, as long as he's fit. Now, a real thing that we've struggled with, again, in the idea that we've, I think, struggled to replace Eriksen when he's not been playing on form or when he's been overtired, I think we've struggled there on the right wing with Antony. And that, for me, is why I think now is the time to give Facundo Pellistri that opportunity. The Rashford experiment, I hope that Ten Hag never has to try and do that again because it just did not work. I mean, everybody knew it wasn't going to work, but it was painful watching Rashford on that right wing. And I think Pellistri is somebody who, hey, look, he's been injured quite a lot. After, I think, was it Atletico Madrid he got injured? And then he hasn't featured. But he's back now. He's training with the first team. If he's fit to start, I would give him a start because Anthony Elanga's not good enough out in that right wing. Marcus Rashford's not good enough out in that right wing. Who else have we got to try? Facundo Pellistri. And we're hearing murmurs that his agent's going to be pushing for a permanent move away from United. I think it feels like the right time. Maybe that's just their way of forcing him into the team. But I also think it's the right decision as well. And out on the left wing, there's a question to be asked. Because Garnacho is somebody who came in against Sheriff, earned his starting position away at Sociedad, and he followed that up by starting against Villa. Now, you could easily throw him in this team here because he's been playing pretty well. But if Jadon Sancho is fit and available, maybe this is the game where Jadon Sancho comes back in just to get the chance that he needs to find himself because he's not going to be going to the World Cup. So if Sancho's not fit and available, and we don't know this at this particular moment in time, it will definitely be Garnacho. But I think if Sancho is fit and available, that Erik Ten Hag puts him in and goes, you know what, look, this is your time. It's a League Cup. Let's put him to one side. Garnacho's knocked him out of the first team at this particular moment in time on form. Sancho, you've got to use his opportunities as and when. Now, that would be my 11 to play against Villa. I forgot who we were playing there. I've got Sancho on the left wing with Pellistri up front, Martial on the up front. So there's a front three, sorry, there of Martial, Sancho and Pellistri. a back five there of Dubravka, Malacia, Martinez, Maguire, and Delo in the front. A middle three. I've done that really weird, haven't I? Casemiro, Iqbal, and Bruno. There's enough experience in there, blended with youth, blended with players who need opportunities and chances. And for me, I think that's a pretty good team. And a team I think Ten Hag would be confident enough that they would not repeat the same sort of drop-off that we saw against Real Sociedad in that first Europa League game. You let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to United People's TV if you are new. But I'll be here with the match reaction tomorrow as always. I'll be here tomorrow morning with the live show. So make sure you do subscribe. Otherwise, you'll miss all of that. Why would you?